Hi, this is Kent Ketter with Cardhoarder, bringing you the hot take of the week. We're match one of Caleb Durward's Bant Spirits. Let's jump on in and see what we can do. So, I think we have a pretty good curve here. It's obviously not perfect, but I think we've got the interaction that we need in the Wanderer. We're going to keep this hand and see where it plays out. Definitely would like a 2-drop here, or something else to make an impact to the board early on. Okay. Island, Wanderer, pass the turn. I don't expect... Well, probably just a creature. Okay. So we will go fetch land, and then we will begin the attacking, because I am not blocking. And... we'll pass. Let's see. Ooh. Interesting. So if the opponent wanted the trigger to go over, they could, well, he could have cast something pre-combat, but I don't think that the trigger is relevant. We'll eat 5. Okay. Are we gonna get rhinoed? Oof. Alright. Looks like being on the draw is probably gonna get us here. Not a ton we can do. No. I mean, I guess we can draw like a... Okay. I think we're dead here. Our opponent's creatures are just larger than ours. Maybe the keep was a little loose, but I think it's reasonable that our opponent casting reasonable-sized creatures under or around our Spellcallers is going to lead to a loss majority of the time. Not a big deal. Go to 2. So maybe I'm supposed to flash in a Spellqueller there to try to minimize the damage I'm taking, but so we'll go. I'm gonna copy the Siege Rhino. Yeah, so we're going to copy the Siege Rhino. I don't expect it to stabilize us, but it's worth a try. Tap land. We're just going to pass order our opponent. That is a beating. Yep. So they path this, we block here, they kill us there. So we're gonna concede here and try to go to the sideboard. We're gonna path to exile in here. We'll go to Blessed Alliance. I'm going to cut these Steel of the Godheads because that doesn't feel like where we want to be. And I'm going to cut one Mausoleum Wanderer. I don't really know like what other cards I'm wanting to bring in here, but this card feels pretty low impact if our opponent is on a heavy creature deck. So we're just going to make a small swap there. I do think this is a matchup where a Noble Hierarch in the opener is probably of high import. So probably be mulliganing 7s that don't offer us something, in that vein. So, one thing that's I actually really do like this in one of the changes Magic Online made. Actually a really big fan of the trophy system. Not that, it means anything long-term, but it's kind of an interesting way to keep track, in periods of time, how well certain players or, decks are doing. Yeah, just a small thing. I believe I have one playing Dredge. Lots of fun. But I think this is a small improvement to the league system that not a lot of people really mentioned, or it just kind of got lost. So just wanted to point that out because I think it's neat. And maybe some other people don't think it's neat, but that is what it is. Yeah, there it is. One trophy. Uno. Oh, you can also search? This feels new. Let's look at my buddies. Hey, look at that. Clans. Oh, clans. So, in this next game, for the record, I think our opponent's on Abzan. Like, I think the deck at one point was called Little Kid. Well, Abzan Attackers. Like, not company, maybe, but they might have cords. That doesn't feel like a great matchup for this deck if you can't stay ahead on counter magic. So it feels like in this matchup, the Spirits deck is trying to take the role of the... it's the Delver deck, and the other deck is, just your more, beatdown-oriented deck. So I have to figure out a way to get this to maneuver around that. Alright, I'm going to mulligan this hand. I don't think it's fast enough. Like a Singleton Path doesn't really do a whole lot. Phantasmal Image? Not where we want to be. Alright, we'll ship this. Okay, it's basically the same hand, but... So, we will bottom this. So, I'm going to get a white source, but I think I want to get a green source just in case I draw a Noble Hierarch. Hey, look at that. So we'll play our land, play our Hierarch, and then we're kind of in, the spot we were before. Or, it's the last turn. Hmm. I'm gonna let that resolve. Not horribly concerned about it. Oh, this definitely puts a crimp on our flash plan. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take a copy of this. I'm going to leave up the path. Also going to snap off this block if the opponent would like to give it to us. I just have this belief that that's not going to be the case. All right, we're going to path here. Okay. Put some damage in here. Don't expect a trade from our opponent, but yeah. Okay. Hoping our opponent presents Rhino here. Maybe doesn't have the 5th land. If they have the 5th land, Queller, I mean, it's a small cost, but definitely concerned that if they just have a sequence of large creatures, we're gonna be hurting a little. Get a blue source here. White. Queller that. Okay. Just gonna attack with this. Use the Voice of Resurgence to push off a possible attack. I will make the trade. The token seems great. From here, I get to protect my creatures. Not sure if it's going to be quite good enough, but flashing in 2 of these seems great. Then, like, 1 extra threat. deliberate sequencing from our opponent here. Okay. Okay. So end of turn there, maybe I'm supposed to play the path and try to maximize some of the value we get from the mana efficiency, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the stop on my opponent's upkeep and pop the Rhino here. Not terribly concerned about... Yeah. Not worried about most of the other things that are going to be presented. As far as creature size goes. Yeah. I don't know if opponent has another basic. They do. All right. Maybe that's the last one. Okay, so use this, make my opponent pay an extra 1, which shouldn't be a big deal for the old enemies. You'll pay her 1, that's fine. So, I think we just keep holding this Rattle Chains. If we give the Siege Rhino back to our opponent, I don't think we ever win that game. So, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blue thing. Gonna get our trigger. Okay, so we'll get our trigger here. We'll protection the Spell Queller. Okay. We'll just pass from here. This is going to be nice to be able to get this interaction off. So, pretty excited for that. So the reason not to attack with the elemental there is if our opponent has the removal spell for the spell queller, they get the Rhino back. Don't want to give up the Frig creature. We might have a better chance next turn to make this all happen, hypothetically, with a Geist. Okay. Make us a nice 5/5. Okay. None. Flash this in. Get our flash game going. All right. As long as they don't respond with removal spell. So we'll put this trigger on the stack. Once the trigger resolves, we'll then township and just hope it's good enough. It appears like our opponent doesn't really have anything here. I would imagine if they did, there would have been a press to make it happen at the end of my turn when I flashed in. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but actually not the end of the world because it about negates it. The downs, so it is still lethal. Cool. Yep. Wait, no, it's not. They block the elemental, right? And no, yeah, we get killed on the crackback. Okay, so our opponent had an interaction point. Was it lethal without the Zealous Persecution is the question. So we're gonna lose this game. We're gonna put our opponent to 2 and be dead. The question is though is if we so 5/5. This was a 4/4. Okay, so all the stats were what they were, but we also had a 2/1. So if our opponent blocks the 5/5, they take 8, 10. Okay, so they were dead. I needed to do that in the other way to ensure that this was still lethal. So that was my fault. I'm going to concede the game. Well, that was match 1. We definitely lost that one on a mistake. I do think that game 2 was absolutely winnable for us. Just have to identify the way Zealous Persecution comes into play there. I was more fixated on there being removal at all, which just ends the game. It's just bad gameplay to give up mana with like an activation when it's unnecessary. And we lost because of it. But the deck seemed to be able to jump onto its flash game plan there in game 2 with a Noble Hierarch and a couple paths. Really much better than that game 1 experience where we just got run over. So, join me for match 2, mulligan a little more aggressively, and maybe win a game. Thanks for joining. This was Kent Ketter with Cardhoarder. Hot takes. Bye.